It's Tuesday, July 14, and here's what you need to know by noon. Wall Street is bracing for a rare doubleheader, a big inflation report and the start of bank earnings season, both before lunch. Plus, Benjamin Netanyahu's son quietly changes his name, deadly floods, and a dam breach in southern China, and an update on a Texas property tax fight we've been following. Let's get into it. We start with your money. This morning delivers two of the biggest market events of the month, almost back to back. First, at 8:30 Eastern, the government releases June's Consumer Price Index, the main inflation report. It's the last major read on prices before the Federal Reserve meets late this month to decide what to do with interest rates. And within the same hour, the country's largest banks begin reporting how much they made last quarter. Prices and profits, one right after the other. Here's what economists expect. After a hot spring, inflation is forecast to have cooled a bit in June, helped by softer energy prices, bringing annual inflation to somewhere around 3.9%, down from 4.2% the month before. The Fed pays closest attention to the core number, which strips out food and gas, and that's expected to hold roughly steady. We'll know the real figures at 8:30. Why does this land in your life? Because it's the number that shapes borrowing costs. Mortgages, car loans, credit cards. Right now, markets put the odds at about 2 and 3 that the Fed leaves rates where they are at its next meeting. A hotter reading could push a rate cut further off. A cooler one could pull it back into view. That's context, by the way, not advice. And the earnings. 4 financial heavyweights report before the opening bell today. JPMorgan, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, and BlackRock, with Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, and Morgan Stanley on deck for tomorrow. Analysts will be listening for one thing above all: whether deal-making and trading have truly bounced back this year. JPMorgan is the biggest, so it usually sets the tone for the rest. Here's the rest of what's happened. First, an unusual story out of Israel's first family. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's eldest son, Yair, has legally changed his name to Yonatan Hun. It turned up in Israeli tax records and was first reported by the newspaper Haaretz. The new name carries family weight. Yonatan honors the Prime Minister's brother, who was killed leading the Antiba hostage rescue in 1976, and Hun revives an ancestor's original surname. Yair, who's 34 and lives in Florida, still goes by Netanyahu on social media, and under Israeli law, the change can't be undone for 7 years. Second, southern China, torrential rain from typhoon. Maisak has driven catastrophic flooding across the Guangxi region, breaching a reservoir dam and forcing mass evacuations. Officials say around 39 people have died. Rescue crews are still searching, and forecasters are already watching a second storm building behind it. It's a disaster that's gotten little attention over here, but it's uprooted thousands of people. And third, an update on a story that hits close to home for a lot of homeowners: your property taxes. We told you about Mitch Wexler, the Texas businessman who accused county appraisal districts of systematically overvaluing homes to pump up tax bills. That case has now reached the end of the road in the state courts. The Texas Supreme Court declined to take it up last fall and denied a rehearing in May, letting the earlier dismissal stand. Those lower courts threw the suit out on procedure, not on the merits of the claim. Wexler says he'll keep pressing the fight through other avenues. The appraisal district isn't commenting. However you read it, it's kept a spotlight on how the value of your home, and the bill that follows, actually gets set. So what should you watch? 2 things. Tomorrow brings around 2 of bank earnings: Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, and Morgan Stanley, filling in the rest of the Wall Street picture. And keep an eye on how this morning's inflation number moves the odds on a Fed rate cut, with policymakers set to meet in under 2 weeks. That's markets news, not advice. And that's Tuesday. Caught up. A big morning for your money. A name change in Israel's first family. Deadly floods in China. And a property tax fight that's changed venues but hasn't ended. We'll be back tomorrow morning. This has been Know by Noon.